Good morning. It's Stacey Ashley here, and so excited to be live again, multi-streaming, as is my new norm. So if you're on the live, welcome. And if you're watching the recording, I'd love to hear your comments. Today, what I want to focus on is visibility and leadership visibility, and in particular, the most senior leaders and their visibility. Why? Because what I've noticed in a lot of my conversations and the work that I'm doing is that people are starting to observe that their leaders are disappearing. And when you want to build change, invisible leadership is not going to help you. And so what do I mean? Well, back at the beginning of COVID, there was a lot of activity and there was a real focus on communication. There was a lot of it. It was, frequent, hopefully consistent, but there was lots of information flowing, and there was, because of that, the leaders that were sharing that information were super visible. Let me just check my stream. And what's happened since then is everyone's sort of gotten into this almost new comfort zone. And so we've gotten over the hurdle of distributing our workforce or working in shifts or upsizing or downsizing, and we've kind of done the bulk of that work. And so we're in this new normal. And so what's happened is that the attention has moved, and the focus on communication seems to have dropped. I spoke to probably 4 different organisations yesterday, and they said that they hadn't had any key message, any communication from, the most senior part of their organisation for 3 weeks. And what that means is if you are that senior leader, you are invisible. People don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what the agenda is. Is it the same as it was 3 weeks ago, or has it changed? They don't know how to participate because you're not giving them guidance and clarity. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about the impact of that. If you're not visible as a leader, if your messages are not visible, and people are not getting them often enough, then they don't know that you're leading them. And in fact, you're not leading them because they're not even aware of what you're doing. And right now, because we've got so much uncertainty still, although we've kind of created a new interim normal, we don't have certainty about what's going to happen next. We don't know what the future's really going to look like. We can speculate, but we don't know for sure. And what that means is that in the absence of your leadership, there is no certainty. So your job as a leader, at all levels, of course, is to create certainty, is to create trust, that people can trust that you will lead them through this. But if there's no messaging coming from you, then they've got nothing to grab onto. They've got nothing to create that certainty for them, because there's just a vacuum where there should be information. And that is not going to help you or help them. So if you want people to be focused on the right things, if you want them to be engaged, if you want them to feel like they're part of a bigger purpose in your organisation, you must communicate regularly with them. If you want to be recognised as the leader and for people to follow you, then you must communicate with them. And that's a variety of communication approaches, but it's consistency of message. Like, what do you want them to know? What do you need them to know? Because in the absence of that, they're just going to make things up. And we all know how the office grapevine works, even when we're not in the office anymore. So it's really important to be messaging and be visible. Yeah. The thing that comes with that visibility is that over time, what you're going to do is create not just being a visible, and not just being trusted, but create a connection that means that when you need people to do things, to take action, to follow through, to come on board with the change, then you've actually built the leverage to be able to do that, because you've built the trust, because you've built the certainty, because you've built the connection. But in the absence of that, when you ask them to make a change, then their trust in you that this is the right thing to do, their trust in you that, yes, I should do it too, is very, very limited. And so as a leader, that's going to impact your ability to actually get things done. Let me just check my comments here. I think this is, I'm just checking. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so I can see a few people. Welcome, Georgina and Frederick and Nimesh. So what I want to talk about is how do you as a leader get on point with your messaging so that you can develop what you want is a rhythm of communication. You want it to be pretty simple and straightforward so it's not too time consuming, because you want that consistency so people can trust in you. They know with certainty that you are going to keep them informed. They're going to know with certainty, what the circumstances are, not that they're dealing with a message that's 3 and 4 weeks old. So, and the other thing, of course, is if you as the most senior leader are sharing a message, then all of the other leaders in your organisation know what they need to share with their people. So you're actually supporting your leaders to execute their roles as leaders as well, because the most important people in terms of messaging and communicating during any time of change and transformation is the most senior leader and my immediate leader. They're the two people that I want to lead me. They're the two people I want to trust. So if we communicate regularly, that goes a long way to establishing that. So just a reminder about the 4 key things to think about in your messaging so you can craft a message really quickly. The first one is purpose. What's the purpose of our change? And that might be about the immediate purpose, or it might be about the long-term purpose. What makes this important and why are we doing it now? The second P is picture. What's the picture of this change? What does it look and feel like? And so again, normally in a change, we talk about the long-term picture, but right now it might be the picture for the next 2 weeks or the next 3 weeks, because we know change is going to keep coming. But what we can tell people is what it's going to be like in the immediate future. Where are they going to be working? Who's going to be at work? How are we going to be communicating? All those sorts of things. So give them the immediate picture. And then we've got pathway. What are the steps to get us to the next milestone? Yeah. Normally, again, we'd have a longer range plan. We can't necessarily do that now, but let's tell people what we know about what's coming next. And then the final P is what's the part that you want each person to play? And so this is about inviting them to come and contribute, to participate. You need to let them know how they can do that. Otherwise, they're going to make assumptions, which may or may not be right. Otherwise, they're not going to know how to engage. All right, so we've got to lead them and we've got to give them those 4 Ps: purpose, picture, pathway, and part. Now, what I've seen with a lot of the messaging is that the purpose and the picture is okay. People are getting that out, maybe not frequently enough. Maybe it is 3 weeks old, but the parts that are missing are the pathway. So what are the key steps? And the part, how people can actually, become involved, how you want them to bring their great experience, knowledge, effort, energy into this ongoing transformation situation. So I think that's the main things that I wanted to cover today was really about the importance of being visible, being a visible leader. And so when I say be visible, leaders should be having a communication every week at this point, at least every week. And they should be, it could be, a variety of ways of getting your message out, because we know people take messages in differently. So you want, maybe written messages, you want things on the internet, you could use text, email, video, audio. There's a whole lot of things that you could do. But for the most senior leader, we don't want to take up a lot of their time. And so there needs to be someone else who's coordinating that. And then it's just the 10 minutes of that very senior leader's time to capture the message. And so that might be a video, which then gets transcribed, it gets uploaded, it gets sent out, and if you stick to the 4 Ps, it's really easy to construct that message. So again, the leader's not taking, it's not sucking up too much of their time, but they're visible. Every week it needs to go out. And then every leader within the organisation gets that cascaded message that they can make relevant to their people, to their team, so that everyone feels like they know what's going on, they know how to participate, they know who their leaders are because their leaders are really showing up for them. And so this is something that, I really encourage you to do. And I would say, calendar it, put it in your diary that you need to create your message and you need to circulate it. And then, in your team meeting, just make sure that, it's delivered again in the team meeting. And if anyone has questions, then they can air those questions and, you can get into the conversation, which is really important at the moment. So talk to your people, communicate to your people, be a visible leader, build certainty and trust. Because when you have that, you can leverage that into action. You can leverage that because you've got the buy-in, you've got the engagement. People trust you to lead them. And so when you need to make a big decision, when you need to be the catalyst for the next change, you've got that leverage with your people already. So I would love to know your thoughts. I would love to know, how are you communicating with your people now? How are you being a really visible leader who's building trust and certainty with their tribe? Right, that's me done for today. So have a great rest of the day, and really looking forward to hearing your thoughts and comments. And that's it. So bye for now.